Have you ever been having a perfectly normal day when, out of nowhere, your brain suddenly reminds you of that one embarrassing thing you did years ago? Maybe you called your teacher Mom in front of the whole class. Maybe you waved back at someone who wasn't actually waving at you. Or maybe you replay a conversation from last week and suddenly think, why did I say that? It's almost like your brain waits until you're trying to relax before hitting you with memories you'd rather forget. Today, we're breaking down the psychology behind why embarrassing moments seem to appear when you least expect them, and why your mind refuses to let them go. Most people assume this happens because they're awkward, or because they simply can't move on. But psychology tells a different story. Your brain isn't trying to embarrass you. In a strange way, it's trying to protect you. One reason is something called the brain's threat detection system. Even though an embarrassing moment isn't physically dangerous, your brain often treats social mistakes as if they are. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your group could have meant losing protection or resources. So your brain evolved to pay close attention to moments that might lead to social rejection. That's why memories that made you cringe often feel more vivid than ordinary days that you barely remember. But here's what's fascinating. The embarrassing moment itself usually isn't the problem anymore. It's the emotion attached to it. Your brain stores emotional memories more strongly than neutral ones, because emotions signal that something important happened. Even if everyone else forgot what you did 5 minutes later, your brain keeps the memory on file, just in case it thinks you need to avoid making the same mistake again. That's why you might suddenly remember an awkward conversation while brushing your teeth, driving to work, or lying in bed. Those quiet moments activate something called the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's background mode. When you're not focused on a specific task, your mind naturally wanders through old memories, future plans, and unfinished thoughts. Unfortunately, embarrassing moments often end up on that mental playlist. There's another reason these memories feel so personal. Most of us experience something psychologists call the spotlight effect. We tend to believe other people notice and remember our mistakes far more than they actually do. You might spend years thinking everyone remembers the time you tripped in public or forgot someone's name. In reality, they were probably too busy worrying about their own embarrassing moments. If you've ever replayed the same conversation over and over, wondering whether you sounded strange, you're not alone. This habit is connected to emotional regulation. Your brain keeps reviewing the event because it wants closure. It hopes that by analyzing every detail, it can somehow prevent future embarrassment. The strange part is that this usually has the opposite effect. Instead of helping you move on, it keeps the memory feeling fresh. But that's only part of the story. Your personality also plays a role. People who are naturally more conscientious or sensitive often remember social mistakes more vividly. They care deeply about how their actions affect others. That isn't necessarily a weakness. In many cases, it helps people become thoughtful friends, reliable coworkers, and kind listeners. The downside is that the same awareness can make small mistakes feel much bigger than they really are. Imagine sending a text with a typo, accidentally interrupting someone during a meeting, or laughing at the wrong moment during a serious conversation. Hours later, you're still thinking about it. Meanwhile, everyone else has already moved on with their day. Your brain isn't replaying the memory because the event was huge. It's replaying it because your emotions labeled it as important. Here's where it gets interesting. Remembering embarrassing moments isn't always a bad thing. It helps us learn social rules and become better at navigating relationships. If we never felt embarrassed, we'd probably repeat the same mistakes over and over without noticing. A little embarrassment teaches us empathy and self-awareness. The problem begins when those memories become constant visitors. If you're avoiding conversations, losing sleep, or feeling anxious every time you remember something awkward, your brain may be stuck in a loop that no longer serves you. Instead of learning from the memory, you're reliving it. And those are two very different things. The next time an embarrassing memory suddenly pops into your head while you're making coffee, listening to music, or trying to fall asleep, try asking yourself one simple question. Would I remember this if someone else had done it? Most of the time, the answer is probably no. That's a reminder that other people are usually much less focused on your mistakes than you are. So if this happens to you, you're not strange, you're not hopelessly awkward. Your brain is simply doing what it evolved to do. Protect your place in the social world, even if it's being a little overprotective. Now I'm curious. What's one embarrassing moment your brain keeps bringing back, even though it happened years ago? Share it in the comments. You might be surprised by how many people relate. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden psychology behind everyday behavior, be sure to subscribe. And in the next video, we'll explore another mystery your brain creates every single day, one that affects almost everyone without them even realizing it.